有请各位贵宾，现在就可以就座了。我们的大会呢，开幕仪式再过2分钟，再过2分钟之后呢，就会正式开始了。要请您就座 ，Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin in 2 minutes. Please take your seats. Thank you so much. 我们配合防疫哦，还是要请各位贵宾呢，今天大会全程佩戴口罩。但是如果是要上台致辞，或者是等一下要发言，或者是合照的话呢，暂时可以把口罩拿下来，没有关系。And please keep your mask on at all times. But if you're coming to the stage to talk, or you're going to raise questions, or have a group photo, feel free to take your mask off temporarily. Thank you very much. If you're having headsets with you, turn to channel 1 for Chinese or turn to channel 2 for English. Thank you very much. 有用口译机的贵宾以及朋友们，频道1是听中文，频道2听英文，谢谢。Ladies and gentlemen, on-site or online, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the opening ceremony for the review meeting of the ROC's second report under the Convention on the Rights of the Child. 非常欢迎各位现场以及线上的贵宾呢，一同参加2022儿童权利公约第2次国家报告国际审查会议的开幕仪式哦。Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 5 years since we last met, and last time the review committee gave us a total of 98 concluding observations. They were very helpful for Taiwan to further promote the rights of children and youth. And this time, for the second report, we are once again very happy and honored to be joined by 5 international experts, and we are very much looking forward to a lot of exchanges of ideas between the members of the review committee and the representatives of the ROC Taiwan government and NGOs in the next 5 days. 台湾呢，在2016年首次提出儿童权利公约的国家报告，隔年举行国际审查会议哦。那么的委员呢，总共当时候提出了98项的结论性意见，对于台湾呢的儿少权利的发展大有注意哦。那这一次呢，5年一度的第2次国家报告，台湾已经在去年正式完成。那接下来呢，1连5天我们会举行国际审查会议以及交流，希望呢能够让台湾在儿少权益的发展、推动以及保护呢，都能够更加的完善。善尽作为国际社会一份子的责任。那当然，我们也知道，推动儿少权益呢，需要各个不同的国家、不同的组织以及团体呢相互的合作才有可能。那接下来就为各位介绍我们今天上午呢莅临现场的长期关注儿少议题的机关团体的代表。And next, I'm going to introduce the VIP guests joining us today。那也请倡民道的贵宾呢先起身跟我们挥挥手致意一下。首先呢，为各位介绍的就是我们这一次政府机关代表团的副团长卫福部的李丽芬政务次长。Ladies and gentlemen, let's firstly welcome the Deputy Head of Delegation of the ROC Government, Deputy Minister of Health and Welfare 李丽芬。接下来呢，为各位介绍行政院儿童及少年福利与权益推动小组的召集人林万益政务委员，林万益 Convener Task Force on Promoting Rights and Welfare for Children and Youth Minister with our Portfolio Executive Yuan ROC Taiwan， 非常欢迎。那么今天现场呢也非常荣幸，国家人权委员会陈菊主任委员亲自出席，我们掌声欢迎陈菊主委。陈菊 Chair of National Human Rights Commission。ROC Taiwan。那么今天现场呢，也有多位国家人权委员会的委员，也为各位一一的介绍。And also here with us, we have the commissioners of the National Human Rights Commission， 包括了有田秋瑾委员，掌声欢迎；叶大华委员、范训律委员、季慧荣委员到了吗？委员等一下才会到。赖正昌委员。以及朴忠诚委员，欢迎。And also, we are very happy to be joined by the representatives and ambassadors of foreign missions here with us in Taiwan。接下来呢，为各位介绍莅临我们今天开幕仪式的多位驻台的使节哦，包括了有巴拉圭的共和国大使馆费卡洛大使 ，We have Ambassador Carlos Freitas, Embassy of the Republic of Paraguay. Welcome. 接下来为各位介绍的是史瓦蒂尼王国大使馆蒙西比大使 Ambassador Promise Mississippi Embassy of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Welcome. 美国在台协会黄华喜政治助理 Samuel Huang Political Assistant American Institute in Taiwan. Welcome. 德国在台协会陶艾玛副处长 Dagmar Traub Evans Deputy Director General German Institute Taipei. Thank you so much for joining us today. 巴布亚纽几内亚驻台商务代表处康德明代表 Tommy Kambu Konji Representative Papua New Guinea Trade Office 南非联络办事处的安德生代表 Hugh Graham Anderson。
Testing 1 2 3. This is the English channel. Testing 1 2 3. Interpreting will start after the MC finish the ceremony session.
委员 Legislator 吴新颖。 邱成元委员 ，Legislator 邱成元；王婉玉委员 ，Legislator 王婉玉。Thank you so much for joining us today. 那当然呢，最重要的是我们今天特别远道而来的国际审查委员。Last but definitely not the least, our members of the International Review Committee who have traveled long distances to join us here in Taiwan. 首先呢，我给介绍的是我们审查委员会的主席的 Chairman of the Committee, Professor Jacob Ekman Dork from the Netherlands， 来自于荷兰的 Dork 教授。 Professor Nigel Cantwell from Switzerland， 来自于瑞士的 Cantwell 教授。Professor Namina Hokovic-Sahovic from Serbia， 来自于塞尔维亚的 Sahovic 教授。Professor John Tobin from Australia， 来自于澳洲的 John Tobin 教授。And Professor Laura Lundy from Ireland， 来自于爱尔兰的 Laura Lundy 教授。 Thank you so much for coming. 再次谢谢现场这么多的贵宾哦，一同参与我们的开幕仪式。那接下来呢，我们开幕仪式一开始，首先呢就要有请行政院儿童及少年福利与权益推动小组的召集人林万益政务委员，首先为我们开场致辞。我们掌声欢迎政委。And to open the meeting today, please welcome Lin Wanyi, Convener of Task Force on Promoting Rights and Welfare for Children and Youth, Minister with our Portfolio, Executive Yuan, ROC Taiwan. 我们有请政委。
Distinguished international reviewers and Madame Chen from Control Yuan, dear commissioners from Control Yuan, NHRC, dear legislators, and dear foreign representatives, NGOs, and children participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends from the press, online and on-site, good morning. On behalf of Premier Su of the Executive Yuan, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to the 5 international experts for coming to Taiwan. While we have not entirely entered the post-pandemic era, thank you for being still willing to come to Taiwan to be the reviewers of our CRC implementation. Professor Jakob Duke used to be a judge, so I had this connection with him when we first met. And I think 4 of the reviewers came to Taiwan 5 years ago. And we have a new member from the IRC. So we would like to thank Professor Sakvik for attending this review for the first time. I think among the concluding observations, we think that we need to prioritize children's needs and benefits, and children's rights need to be included in the National Human Rights Action Plan. Also, we need an independent monitoring mechanism or institution for children's rights. Of course, children should be empowered to participate in all kinds of activities. Alternative care needs to be improved as well. Equality, non-discrimination, as well as other children's rights are all very important and were discussed extensively in the previous review meeting. In the past 5 years, we spent half of the time fighting against COVID-19. I think it is the same for most of the countries, but we've never stopped improving the implementation of children's rights. In 2008, with the support of President Tsai Ing-wen, we launched the first phase of the Strengthening Social Safety Net program. Now we're entering the second phase. In this program, one of the priorities is to protect the children in Taiwan. And with international reviewers' observations and recommendations, we have invited children participants to attend the children and youth groups conferences at the Executive Yuan. We also heard your voice about the need to amend the Children and Youth Protection Act. Next year, our focus will shift from judicial intervention to providing counseling and protective measures. And one of the division of the NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, pays special attention to children's rights. So we work very closely with the Commission. This year, we've passed the National Human Rights Action Plan, and the CRC implementation becomes part of this National Action Plan. In terms of budget, staffing, and interministerial coordination, with the leadership of Premier Su, the Executive Yuan has been very active in implementing such measures. In the past 2-3 years, children representatives now have a deeper understanding of how to attend these conferences and activities. Just this morning, they had a press conference outside this venue to voice their needs, to remind that it is really important to protect children. And one of their slogans is that children on campus need to enjoy their rights as well. I agree. I think wherever they are, in family, on campus, in the society, children's rights which are stipulated in the CRC shall be protected. We accept the opinions from international experts from around the world. We like to work with different ministries, NHRCs, NGOs, and children themselves, so that children's rights can be better protected. Finally, I would like to wish you health and success throughout the week. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To Minister林万益也为大家补充介绍一下，刚才来到现场的还有我们国家人权委员会的季惠荣委员，委员适时起身跟我们挥挥手。And just joining us, we have the Commissioner of the National Human Rights Commission, 季惠荣. Thank you so much for joining us. And just like Minister Lin just said, we take to all the members of the International Review Committee, we take what you said very seriously, but we definitely know there is still a lot of room for improvement. So we look forward to hearing more from you for the next 5 days. And so next we are going to invite the chair of the review committee to also share a few words with us on the stage. 那接下来呢，我们要为各位介绍的是国际审查委员会的主席，要有请主席呢也上台为我们说这句话。Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Jacob Egbert-Dork, Chairman of the International Review Committee, to the stage. 我们掌声欢迎我们的主席 Professor Jacob Egbert-Dork.
I'd just like to look at this gathering of people. Excellencies and all other participants, children and youth, parents, members of parliament, civil servants of various ministries, representatives of the National Human Rights Commission, and of a wide variety of NGOs promoting and supporting the implementation of the rights of the child. I'd like to welcome you to this very special and unique week of review of the second report of the government of Taiwan on its implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. This event is unique because it is the only review event organized by a country that cannot ratify the Convention on the Rights of the Child, but is nevertheless fully committed to its implementation. The traditional review of the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child by 18 members of the CRC Committee, organized by the Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, takes place in Geneva with a very limited, if any, participation of children, youth, and civil society organizations. This review is organized by the government of the country that presents its second report on the implementation of the CRC and takes place in the country itself. And the review is done by an international independent committee of experts in the field of children's rights. And I'm looking again at the people in this auditorium. It confirms the strong commitment for the realization of the rights of children. Many, many thanks for your commitment. And during the sessions, don't hesitate to contact members of the review committee. They are just normal human beings. If you have any question or suggestion concerning the implementation of children's rights. As you know, the ultimate goal of this review is the presentation of a document known as the concluding observations. In that document, the review committee shall express its appreciation for the progress made by the government of Taiwan in its implementation of the rights of children in Taiwan. It shall also present its concerns about the still existing shortcomings and problems in that implementation, followed by recommendations for concrete measures the government should take in order to solve them. For the content of this document, the committee shall take into account, of course, all the information provided by the government, but also the information and an impressive body of information provided by children and youth and all others mentioned before. The hope, and in fact the expectation of the committee, is that all stakeholders in the implementation of the rights of the child will encourage and support the government in its follow-up to the recommendations made in the concluding observations, which will be presented on Friday this week. Finally, I'd like to express my hope that this kind of review sessions will take place every 5 years in the years to come, with an international review committee, perhaps not with the same members as today, and that the government of Taiwan will present its third, fourth, fifth, and following reports in the next decades to come for the implementation of the rights of the child. Thank you for being here. The committee is very much appreciative of your support, your input in this review of its second report of the government of Taiwan. And we are looking forward to a very productive and constructive discussion and dialogue with all of you, and of course, in particular with the government of Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Professor Duok, Chairman of International Review Committee. 我们再次谢谢国际审查委员会的主席 Professor Duok, and just like Professor Duok just said, we really hope that we can see a lot of bilateral exchanges and communication happening for the next 5 days. 那我们也希望呢，为了让我们的这个审查会议能够达到最大的效果，都可以有双向的沟通以及双向的意见的交流。那接下来呢，为各位补充介绍，刚才来到现场的还有贝里斯大使馆的毕坎蒂大使 ，and just joining us, we also have Ambassador Candace Augusta Pitts from the Embassy of Belize. Would you please stand up? Thank you so much for joining us today. 非常谢谢大使，谢谢。那接下来呢，我们要邀请国家人权委员会陈菊主任委员上台致辞，让我们掌声欢迎陈菊主委。Next, please welcome Chen Ju, Chair of National Human Rights Commission, ROC Taiwan, to the stage for the remarks.
Thank you. Minister Lin, Deputy Minister Li, and Chairman Duke, as well as all the members of the CRC Review Committee, representatives from NGOs, as well as distinguished ambassadors, representatives to Taiwan, dear colleagues from the Legislative Yuan. First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us at the review meeting. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to all the members of the International Review Committee who gave us a lot of helpful observation 5 years ago. And the establishment of the National Human Rights Commission can be partly attributed to the concluding observations made by the committee. As a result, this marks a huge milestone in Taiwan's development of human rights. So I am grateful to your efforts with the expectations from the committee as well as from the NGO, I will continue to work hard to promote the rights of the child and youth. On the rights of children, I think in 1987, when Taiwan, on the eve of the lift of the martial law, saw a lot of members of the private sector working together to rescue the child prostitutes. In fact, we saw the instances of sexual exploitation of youth and children, especially indigenous children. That movement was definitely a significant milestone in Taiwan. I was just released from prison in 1987, and I was honored to be part of that rescue movement. That particular movement actually has given rise to the birth of many private civil society organizations, which are devoted to the legislations to abolish sexual exploitation of youth and children. So since then, we have been committed to protecting children and youth as they go online. I know many of you are aware that in the year 2000, in Taiwan, there is a young boy, Ye Yongzhi, the Rose youth, committed suicide on campus. That tragedy also gave rise to the passage of the anti-discrimination law against different sexual orientation. And also, gender equality education was born. In the year 2010, I was the mayor of the Kaohsiung City. I took part in the first Gay Pride Parade in Kaohsiung. I saw many young people in that parade, and I spoke at that event saying that Taiwan, especially Kaohsiung, is a warm city. We are committed to protecting the human rights of different groups. We will continue to respect diverse values. At the end of that parade, the mother of Ye Yongzhi also called upon participants to the parade that she may not be able to save her own son, but she would like to save more children and youth who are just like her son. So we will continue to pay close attention to the issues in relation to LGBTI groups. We will make sure that no children will be discriminated against or bullied because of their sexual or gender orientation. So my commission will continue to implement the laws and regulations in place to protect the rights of youth and children. We will continue to respect children's right to be heard. Our efforts aim to help children and youth to be the subject of their own rights. So we have been working very closely with different sectors in this regard. Once again, I'd like to thank all the committee members for providing us a lot of support, advice, and recommendations. On behalf of the National Human Rights Commission, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Chen. Please stay on the stage. Now it's time for a group photo.
like to have the chair of the National Human Rights Commission, Chen Ju, remain on the stage. We're going to have a group photo on the stage. And for that, we'd like to invite some of our VIP guests to join us on the stage. 接下来呢，我们大合照的时间要再次有请林万益政务委员。Let's welcome once again 林万益 Minister with our Portfolio Executive Yuan ROC Taiwan。我们再次掌声欢迎。国际审查委员会的主席 Professor Jacob Egbert-Dwok, Chairman of International Review Committee。我们掌声欢迎国际审查委员会的主席 Professor Dwok. Please also join us on the stage. All right, for the photo, you can take your mask off. Thank you so much. 接下来呢，我们要有请这一次政府机关代表团的副团长，卫福部的李丽芬政务次长。Next, please welcome the Deputy Head of Delegation of the ROC Government, Deputy Minister of Health and Welfare, 李丽芬 and the members of the International Review Committee, 以及我们国际审查委员 Professor Nevena Vukovic-Sahovic. Would you please also join us on the stage? Thank you so much. Professor John Tobin, Professor Nigel Cantwell, Professor Laura Lundy， 我们也有请我们几位国际审查委员，我们工作人员协助引导一下哦，有请。也要有请承办这一次会议的卫福部社会及家庭署简慧娟署长一起加入合照。And next, we'd like to welcome 简慧娟 Director General Social and Family Affairs Administration, Minister of Health and Welfare。好。 我们台上的几位贵宾，我们试试一起看向前方的镜头。Let's firstly look at the camera in front of you. All right, 3, 2, 1. A big smile. Yes. 接下来呢，这个第二张，我们一起比一个赞好吗 ？Thumbs up, everybody, for the group photo. Yes. 3. Yes. Both hands. Right. 3, 2, 1. 再一张 ，One last one. 3, 2. 1， 我们试试再次给台上的所有的贵宾以及国际审查委员一个热烈的掌声。A big round of applause to all of our VIP guests on the stage. You may return to your seats. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the opening ceremony. Next, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back before 10:15. 接下来呢，我们短暂休息10分钟哦。我们在10点15分之前，请各位贵宾回到会场哦。 那我们在中间休息时间呢，需要换场，我们会调整这个桌椅哦，所以请我们的外宾、国际审查委员、我们的次长、政委以及主委，可以跟随我们工作人员的脚步到这个休息室。那我们其他的参与我们大会的贵宾呢，也请您带着随身的物品，先到我们的场外稍后一下，我们有咖啡以及热茶。不好意思，我们场内呢需要换场哦，会调整桌椅。 请大家呢先到我们场外稍后一下下，等一下回到会场呢，会是委员与国家人权委员会立法机关的代表会议。All right, we'll take a 10-minute break from here, and our VIP guests, please follow our staff to the VIP room. And for other participants, would you please bring your belongings outside because we are going to arrange the chairs and tables a little bit for the meeting. Next, with representatives of the National Human Rights Commission and the Legislative Yuan ROC Taiwan. We have coffee and tea outside for you. Please help yourselves, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you once again. 那如果呢是直接要离场的贵宾，请记得要归还口译设备以及您的识别证。And if you are leaving, please don't forget to return the headsets and also badge. Thank you again. We'll see you in 10 minutes.